Today I'm going to show you how to create a track that is very similar to Dimension's remix of Is That Time by Marlon Hofstad. And actually I have the song loaded on my FL Studio, so I'm going to show you directly the vocal, like from the song, on top of my drop. So I made my own version of that. So hear the vocal first, just as a reminder of how the track sounds.
Now move that body and show me you want some more. It's that time for you to get on the floor. Now move that body and show me you want some more.
So this sounds really cool, and I decided I wanted to give a shot and try to recreate the song by Dimension, and I pretty much nailed the drop. The only difference between our versions is that he has a little bit more drivey snare, and like maybe the kick drum cuts through the mix a little bit better, but the dude has also all the time in the world. Okay, he's a full-time producer. It does sound pretty similar, so let me show you how it sounds. So let me show you how I made this. First things first, we are going to talk about the drums. The drums are really important in this one. So I was listening to the track and I thought the kick is really pointy. It's got like a really loud click. So I decided to use this kick drum number 9. It doesn't give you a lot of information, but this is the kick from Arc Samples Heavy Hitters Drum and Bass Volume 2, and it's the kick number 9 from here. I made it a little bit shorter. You can see that I made it I made a fade out here, and I put it on mixer track number 1, and it's not really loud. It's like -12 in the mix, but when you see -12, like you're probably gonna think it's really quiet, but I boost everything on master channel really heavily. So it's actually like -3 or -2 even. So it's really loud. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the snare. Is the same from the snare from the other Arc sample pack, and it's my snare, which I love to use. But why I chose this one, this snare, for some reason you can push it extremely loud. It doesn't have a lot of low end. It's really bright on the high end, so it's filling the spectrum very nicely, and you can really like push it, so it's like extremely loud in this mix. You can see that, you can hear that, but it's fine. I mean, this song, like the Dimensions track, is really dirty as well, so it's supposed to be like gritty and kind of like that. And now all these percussion samples that I'm using right here, they are all very similar. They are from the same packs, and I put them together and decided to sidechain them. So there's a little bit of sidechaining there, and here, let me show you how it sounds. So here's without sidechain. So the difference is not big, but I'm still making those small adjustments because I want to give a little bit, like 1, 2, 3% of extra power to those kicks and snares. So I hope that made any difference. But then another thing that I want to talk about is an open hat. This is really important. Like, it's a basic white noise. It's not even a hat, it's just white noise. Everybody can do this with Serum. There's literally no processing. Everything you see is everything that it consists of. So this is what we want. And now let me play those elements together with sidechain. Here's what we get. The percussion, I mean, I did cut off low end on some of the percussion samples, but I did not do any processing at all. And honestly, if you listen to Dimension's latest work, it does sound like he wants to keep it raw. He doesn't want to do a lot of editing. So this is like a snare extra layer. Just a little bit of white noise. I don't think it makes any difference, but I decided to keep it there. Then there is an open hat somewhere in between. This is a really good open hat that I purchased from Splice. I think it's the #1 popular one, so you're gonna find it real quick if you want to. So let me play the drums as we've been looking through them. And finally, I decided to use one last percussion sample, which I noticed that Dimension in this particular track, he used like really cool new disco percussion, and I decided to go to Splice and find something like that. I started browsing through house percussion, and this is what I found. So this is how the drums are sounding in this track overall, all together. Now, next thing we want to talk about is the bass, which is really weird in this track. So if you look at the loudness of the sub bass, it's like really low in volume. It's not super loud. I guess it should be even quieter, but I decided to keep it like that for now. Once again, as I said, I don't have that much free time to just polish all those last details. If you want to, you can do that. But yeah, really basic sub bass, just a couple of harmonics to make it a little bit more bright and tight. But yeah, some filtering here, soft clipping, cutting out all the unnecessary high information. I'm doing the same on the mixer track, I think. This is like my paranoia. I'm always afraid that some weird artifacts will appear, so you don't have to do that. So there's like side chaining here, yeah, it's really quiet in the mix. That's all there is to it. So it's a really simple sub bass. And here's the tricky part, which is the bass, the mid bass. So pretty much every single like top dance floor drum and bass track nowadays is using this has kick wavetable, which is a default wavetable. You can go to digital folder and find it right there. So I decided to use 2 of them, make them really attacky with LFOs, add some low pass, and I didn't actually do distortion or any processing at all. One thing I did with this sound though was add some distortion on top of it in the mixer. So it kind of becomes a little bit more pointy and louder. And I removed a little bit of that low end to make sure that the sub bass, which is really hard to mix in this particular kind of music, is still like, I want to make sure that it's still like not distorting. So yeah, this is what I made. And then I downloaded from Splice this weird sample to put it underneath, like it's an extra layer. That's all there is to it. So that's the bass line together with the drums. And there's like a vocal sample there I'm going to show you later. It's really interesting because it's not so complicated. It took me like 20 minutes to make something like that. Obviously I had like a rich library of samples that I had made before, and now you can all buy them and use them as well. So you could make a track like that in like 20 minutes if you wanted to. And I mean, there are 2 more vocal samples, I think. Oh, this is not a vocal sample. This is like yeah, percussion. There's 1 vocal sample that I just decided randomly to put it in here, and that's pretty much all there is to it. There's nothing else that you have to learn. Like maybe if you want to look at the master, I decided to make the master really loud. So to make master really, really loud, what you want is to push the gain a lot. And then on the pro limiter, make sure you have like -3, -4, -5 LUFS. And I think for Dimension's recent new disco kind of drum bass, -4 is like the standard. So let's take a look at the loudness here. Yep. I think we pretty much nailed it. So I hope you enjoyed the content, and you know, you can see that it's all really easy. You just have to learn how to pick samples. There's no secret sauce. You just have to get the experience, and you have to possibly have the samples. So if you want them, you know where to get them. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and see you around.